What up, YouTube? Welcome back to another groovy Halloween movie review. Today I'll be discussing about a cool movie called The Fly. I can't do that. I'm not that cool. Today's review of The Fly will have a special guest of Tyler Tompkins, who I recently discovered a few months ago, and I really like his reviews. He's a really cool guy, and I just, asked him and said, hey, would you like to be part of my review? Kind of got a little shy and nervous, and he said yes. I'm blushing over here. I'll be showing his part of the review first, and then I'll be discussing my part of The Fly. I recently just watched it for the first time, and I think Tyler watched it for the first time as well, so it's pretty cool to get our first reactions for The Fly. So Tyler, what did you think of The Fly?
First and foremost, I just want to thank Justin for giving me the opportunity to collaborate with him. Hopefully this is the first of many collaborations, and I also have to thank him for finally getting me to see the movie The Fly. The Fly, directed by David Cronenberg and starring Jeff Goldblum, is a movie I've put off for many years. It's always fascinated me, and I remember as a young kid seeing the VHS tape in the video store. But for some reason, I just never got it. It seemed appealing, but I wasn't interested, if that makes sense. I don't know. I have no idea why I put this movie off, and after watching this movie, I still have no idea why I put this movie off, because this movie is really good. So from the opening shot of this movie, we're just thrown in with these characters played by Geena Davis and Jeff Goldblum. Their characters are Seth Brundle and Veronica Quaife. Veronica Quaife is a journalist who wants to basically write a story on Seth Brundle's discoveries, because he built these two pods and is able to transport one item in one pod to the next pod. Of course, the two of them hit it off and form somewhat of a relationship, but after something happens, Jeff Goldblum decides that after successfully being able to transport one item from one pod to the next phase is obviously transporting oneself from one pod to the next. But the problem is Jeff Goldblum didn't know there was a fly in the transporting pod, and whenever he does it, he fuses with this fly and becomes a Brundle fly. Basically a hybrid Jeff Goldblum man fly. And as awesome as that sounds, it's incredibly disgusting, but incredibly awesome at the same time. My highest praise I can give this movie, and I knew it would be my highest praise, is the practicality behind all of this. There is not a hint of CGI in this movie at all. And this movie came out in the 1980s. It holds up better than a lot of the CGI blockbusters we get today, and that's saying something. You need some more proof. The movie went on to win the Academy Award for Best Original Makeup. The makeup applied to Jeff Goldblum's character in this movie was phenomenal. It was disgusting, but it was phenomenal. My second highest praise is Jeff Goldblum's performance. Now I know that's what a lot of people say, but Jeff Goldblum really gives a good performance as this mad scientist type of guy. He does have his over-the-top Jeff Goldblum moments, but he actually gives a really good performance. Like, this is the best performance I've ever seen him give in a movie. He always brings something interesting to the characters he plays. I wish he was in more movies, and I know he's kind of making a comeback. He's going to be in Thor Ragnarok, and I know Independence Day 2 was not the best movie, but it was still good to see him on screen. He was definitely the best part of that entire thing. And Geena Davis was really good in this movie too. She really shines in these weird, quirky movies. She was awesome in Beetlejuice. She's great in this, and there's another movie that she's in with Jeff Goldblum called Earth Girls Are Easy. And another praise I have for this movie is the relationship and chemistry between Jeff Goldblum and Geena Davis. The relationship really works. And I can totally see why they got married after making this movie. Unfortunately, it didn't last, but the whole relationship chemistry thing also leads into one of my issues with the movie. So like I said at the beginning, we're just kind of thrown in with these characters, and there's not a proper introduction. I didn't really buy the relationship at first. Their acting was good, but I thought, I don't know about this. I would prefer more of an introduction. But thankfully, the movie moves at such a fast pace that you really kind of forget all about that, and their chemistry really works, and I bought into the relationship. But the whole fast-paced thing at the beginning of the movie also leads into my last issue, which is the final 20 to 25 minutes of this movie and the climax moves at a much slower pace compared to the rest of the movie. And it's not a huge issue, but I did check 2 or 3 times just to see how much time was left in the movie. But overall, this was a fantastic movie. It almost took my top David Cronenberg movie, but Eastern Promises still holds that spot. And one more thing I'll say about The Fly is that out of all the David Cronenberg movies I've seen, this is his most straightforward movie and easy to follow, I would say, because Videodrome and a few of his other movies that I've seen are not art house movies, but they have somewhat of an unusual narrative. I'm gonna give The Fly an A-. Thanks again, Justin, for the opportunity to collaborate. I can't wait to see the rest of your reviews up until Halloween Day.
Thank you, Tyler, for being on my channel to discuss The Fly. I hope there's some more collabs in the future. I have seen the original version of The Fly, the 50s version, and I wanted to check out the 80s version of The Fly, directed by David Cronenberg and starring Jeff Goldblum, for a long time. On my birthday, I went out to Best Buy and my wife purchased The Fly for me, and she told me to go ahead and watch it soon for this video, and I watched it, and this is a gruesome, well-paced awesome movie. This has a really interesting story. Kind of a cliche story messing with things that you really shouldn't. This movie had a great character of Jeff Goldblum and some tremendous acting. I've never seen Jeff Goldblum be this amazing in a long time. You could really tell in the beginning that he was awkward, didn't know how to socialize with people, and so he invited Gina Davis over to his laboratory to say, hey, I could transfer your clothing from one place to another, and then they tried on a monkey and it doesn't go very well. And then he tries it on himself, and a fly gets in there and the thing doesn't know what to do, and it leads to some gruesome moments. And what I really like about this movie is the progression of not only the character, but the movie. The character is very awkward in the beginning, and when he gets the fly transferred like into his body, his character changes. He's not the same person, and people around him are noticing it. They want to help him, and the progression of this character is so well paced. It's not something that just starts right off the bat. We see subtle changes to his body, his fingernails. It has such a great pacing to it, and the movie is such a great pace as well. You get a great introduction to the character and what he's doing and how Gina Davis is involved as well. And there's fails at times, there's many fails, and then it leads to his success, or he thinks it's a success. And slowly this movie just gets more gruesome and more things are at stake, and he does not care. He wants to know more about it, and that's what I really love about this character, is that it's really getting to him even, and he doesn't see the effects on his body. Well, he probably sees the effects in the mirror. That leads me to my next thought. This movie is very gruesome. I haven't in a while really turned my head and be like, I don't want to look at that. The makeup was terrific in this movie, and it was so believable that this person actually looked like this in real life. And when his body was falling apart, those were the scenes that truly shined and really got under my skin. So this movie is great. It has a great storyline, great progression of its characters. It looks beautiful, and I was so happy with this movie. And also very grossed out by this movie. So I'm going to go ahead and give The Fly an A. This was an awesome movie. I enjoyed watching it, and I can't wait to watch it many, many Halloweens from now. I have heard so many great things about this movie, and I'm so happy that I got to check this out, and I'm so happy that Tyler got to check this out as well. Have you guys seen The Fly? What did you think about it? Also, go over to Tyler Tompkins' channel and subscribe to him. Tell him Justin Watches Movies sent you. He's a great guy. So this is Justin Watches Movies, and you stay spooky, YouTube.